Welcome to Unbiased and On the Fence. I'm Shane. Thank you guys so much for joining this special sneak broadcast. Because we're home, and what are we doing? We're hanging out. What is up, Sherry? Let me bring you in.
Hey, how is everybody doing? Is everyone
Uh,
else home?
Pretty much, I think the world has come to a grinding halt. It's amazing. I think wonderful things are happening, though. It's exciting. I know people are nervous. You know, there's a lot of strange things happening, and we'll get into some of that stuff. But ultimately, I think this is a good thing. I think anytime you can shake up somebody's world to this extent, you know, I mean, at this point, it's affecting everyone all around the world. It's a unifying force, if you will. What do you think, Sherry?
Um, well, I see both sides, because, I work somewhere where we've had people that got sick and stuff, and everybody was really scared and everything. But it seems to be like, the flu and but I had some friends that had like really, really high fevers and stuff, but this was like 2 or 3 months ago. And
Yeah,
now and they're getting better now. Shout out to Ian. He's probably watching, and we're gonna show his picture in a minute that he sent to me. So he's you know everybody's like getting better, but I have seen some people get sick.
yeah. Okay, but to be clear, no one with CV19 yet, correct?
I don't know anyone yet.
Okay. Because I think that's important. You're down in Louisiana where there's been this, I think the news described it as a sudden surge that they thought had to do with Mardi Gras, possibly. Like a lot of people were spreading it during that time because, you know, there's the beads, there's the kissing, there's all sorts of stuff that happens at Mardi Gras that
We're some really loving people down here in
creates
these
the
parts.
perfect opportunity to spread something around. So that's what they're saying. But of course, you're not like an ER nurse or anything. You work in the field. But
No,
from what you hear, have you seen any action?
no, I haven't. I actually used to do that kind of stuff like all the time, but I've settled into like my favorite niche, like mental health and stuff.
Hmm.
And so I have friends though, like my old DON. She works in an ER and on a regular med surge unit. And from what she's seen, she hasn't seen anything either. I have another friend that actually works at a major walk-in clinic in this area, and he said so far there's been no positive test that he was aware of. But
Strange.
yeah, but you know,
So, because I've been watching these videos online, and of course, you know, you want to air in it, and I probably should have this disclaimer in here. I think you should follow all the guidelines of the CDC and your healthcare professionals and all that stuff. So, I'm not saying anything against the government or anything like that. So
yeah,
just to be clear and stuff, I think you should keep your distance or whatever they're recommending. So, but I just find it odd that you know I've seen these videos online all over, even including New York and Washington and places where we should see some overcrowding, and I haven't seen really I haven't seen any activity. It's really strange.
yeah, and I was gonna say, make sure that you do that little social distancing or whatever. Because I went in the post office yesterday to mail a package, and I just like walked in and went to the little desk and I was filling out the address on a sticker thing and everything, and then they were all like, ma'am. And I didn't know they were talking to me because I was like minding my own business right there. But evidently I was like 2 feet from the man in line beside me or whatever instead of 6 or whatever. And they like cleared the whole thing out because of me and like was just letting people go in there one or two at a time. And I was like, oh my God, I'm making a ruckus.
Hmm.
So it's kind of weird, you know.
That's where I first noticed it too. I went into the post office actually to mail out the wands for all of you guys, and they had these little lines on the floor, and you had to stand by a line. And I guess they had measured out each of the lines, and they couldn't have more than 6 people in the whole glassed-in area. You know, like you can go outside to the PO boxes out there or whatever, but the main area that they can lock off when they're closed or whatever. In
Mhm.
there, they could only have 6 people at a time, and you had to be standing at these little lines. And you know, and it was like everybody was, you know, I was in line. I looked at the lady behind me. She's like fooling around on her phone, and she got about halfway between her line and my line, and I'm kind of looking at her, you know, like it wasn't a big deal to me, but I'm like kind of
Stay
just
in your line, stay in your area.
out of entertainment purposes, you know, I'm just watching her and seeing what she's going to do, and she realizes and stuff. And you know, her first thing was to look at the worker, like you know, she wasn't even worried about me. She was just worried about getting yelled at by the worker at the post office, you know, because
I
they were
think
like,
that's, like, really sad, though, because, like, I'm one of those people that, like, when I give a report to the nurse that's coming on or whatever, before I leave, I, like, hug her and everything to leave, you know, and one of them, I, like, went to hug her, and she's all like, "Ugh," and she's all like, "Do it." She's like, "You gotta do the elbow thing," you know, and she's all like, and I'm just like, "Wow, this is really strange," you know?
it's really it's weird to see how everyone so quickly adapted to the new way of being, and you can see the tape on the floor in different establishments, and there's like even the Quick Trip. There's an X, like you can be on that X, or this X, but you know you just had to keep your distance. So it's
Well,
like,
what about that plexiglass they're hanging up on these little like swinging chains? It's like between you and the worker. I know I was in a gas station not long ago, and both of us, me and the girl, were like, you know, there was like this much space between the glass and the thing, and we're like talking like this. We were like closer than we would have been if we were like normal. I
right.
don't know why, we just were.
Let's see here. I want to check in with the keep up with the chat really fast because I saw a few things here. Let's see. Shiny, what is up, Shiny?
Oh,
My
shine.
neighbor here in Tulsa. I have a friend who works in the hospital, and he said he's had to make his schedule to look like they're working, but there's really nothing going on.
Hmm.
Really strange.
Yeah, that's weird.
So, I don't know. It's like, you know, and a lot of the people I talk to, it's, you know, that's what they're saying. It's like better to err on the side of safety and caution, and just, you know, follow what they say, stay in your homes, do what they're recommending or whatever. But on the other hand, it's like, I don't know. It's a lot of disruption. And, you know, you hear these ideas about, you know, the internet turning off. I don't really think that's going to happen myself personally. I don't feel that internet shutdown thing, at least anytime soon. So I haven't really been worried about that. But I do think the whole idea that a lot of people are coming up with these group meditations, like there's a huge one on Day After Tomorrow, 4/4. There's one on 4/5. Um, of course, this 4/4/4 Day After Tomorrow will be a 4/4/4 day with a, you know, 2020. So
Oh, yeah.
4/4/4. Yeah.
Oh.
So definitely want to join in with the 4/4/4 portal. But I recommend anybody, even now, you know, this extra time. I've been doing all this extra meditating, and just know that we're joining forces together, and we're guiding this train into something that we're really creating a whole new world. Let's just like the title of the video, right?
Well, that's what, you know, I have come to see that it just seems to me like all of this, the news footage that's on, and, you know, it triggers emotion in people.
Mm-hmm.
So already I've always said that like movies and TV and things like that, that when you're watching it, okay, like when you meditate or envision something in your mind, you know, I don't know about y'all, but I'm like, there's a little screen in there, you know. So they're trying to, you know, it's been always like that. The television programming, I know this isn't anything new to a lot of you. And it's so you're focusing on all of that, uh, all the stories and coverage of it with emotion, and really like it almost seems like creating your own demise. You know what I'm saying? And there's
Yep.
so much fear on that news. But that's what I think they're trying to do. It's just like I always say, there's a great big major channel, and one of their slogans was like capturing the imagination, which sounds positive, but is it really positive? you know, because that's what we use to create. Because our
Yeah.
thoughts create our reality. So, you know,
Shout out to Subway Underground, Darby. She says you
hey,
look beautiful.
oh, she's so sweet, little monkey. So,
And Eileen says focus on the positive and expect the best. And I think that's huge because, okay, so let's talk about some of the theories going around because I don't really know. I just know that I know when it comes to our group, there's a lot of us in our group. I know you feel strongly about this. A lot of the some of the abuse and things. We don't want to say too much, but we know that there's abuse going on with younger people of all ages, of course, but amongst the youngest in our society, and that there's word that there's going to be this takedown of some of the evils that we see going on, and with that, I heard there was a ton of troop movement in the I want to say over in Europe. They said there was like NATO troop movement, something like 3,000 pieces of equipment. They're saying they said that can be tanks, that could be any kind of equipment. You're speculating beyond the point of it. You just know how many pieces of equipment it is, but it could be anything. You know what I mean? So, but there's a lot of that going on with NATO. There's videos I've seen with troop movement and equipment within the United States. Sometimes 300 or 400 tanks being moved. Now you have somebody in your area that just captured a train with 300 or 400 tanks on it. Looked like it was moving through Louisiana. Is that correct?
yeah, yeah, and like it kind of freaked my daughter out, and she'd sent it to me, and I don't know what's going on, but I would like to just digress for 1 minute and say that if there's anybody, from I was having a lot of trouble with like I guess how you'd say the creating your reality and shifting reality, like Cynthia Sue Larson teaches and all that,
Mm-hmm.
with that one subject, like the abuse and everything. And then you had said that one thing, and it like gave me this huge breakthrough with it. And so I was able to finally put that into the category with everything else in my life and be able to be totally there where I really do support that, because it was just that one thing that was like like what you call it, a wrench in my spokes or something, or however you say that. It was,
Right.
really bothering me, and that like kind of fixed it for me. So I
Well, it's really
really
cool because
appreciate.
you just, for people who just caught that live panel discussion, you actually asked that question to the panel. How is someone to come to terms with, if we're creating our reality, how can we see what we see, what some of the things we've been talking about? We're kind of talking around the subject, but how can we know that there's these things going on right in our reality and we're creating our reality? No one created that, right? So why is that there and what can we do with it? And
Yeah, and like one of the problems I had when I like asked the panel, it was because I genuinely needed to know like what to do, because this was the one thing that I was like hung up on. And look, I'm gonna use Jerry, like Dark Wolf's Den, because he's so sweet and I love him to death, and he's gonna know that I don't mean anything bad by this. But like, so I'm talking about like like abuse and all of those subjects around it, and of like children and stuff like that. And when it got to him, he was like, "Well, fake it till you make it," and all that. Well, I get that with a lot of different subjects. I understand how that works. But my thought when he said that was like, you know, having to approach this child going through all this and, fake it till you make it, honey. Like that just wasn't flying for me at all. It was a huge block for me up until they even premiered that the other day. And I was still in the chat room saying little things about it because I still hadn't like got through it. And then okay, so a lot of people on here, I guess, know that in the dream state, I like have a lot of stuff like this go on, or it could be like, I mean, maybe not, it could just be dreams, but where I like assist people like that and everything. And you had brought up like, well, what do you say to someone whenever you come upon this kind of thing, and the first thing I say is it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right. Like, like no matter what, it's gonna be okay. And then it started dawning on me that I really was doing it that way. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Because I think that gets into what we were. At some point you do know it will be okay, no matter how bad the suffering is. It won't last forever, and there will be a point where you've made it through it. And that's why the whole idea of what Jerry was saying is really beautiful if you really think it all the way through, and the whole fake it till you make it. It's not saying fake it and hope you'll make it. You will eventually make it. So it's like, if you know you're going to make it, you can get in the mode of making it, right? Of how it feel to, and that's sort of, I think, where that's sort of misunderstood, because it's like you're just faking it. But as soon as you begin the whole faking process, you change your vibrational status to where you're actually drawing that to yourself. Do you know what I mean? And anybody who's done this, like, if you can fake a smile, if you're not feeling very happy, you got to go deal with customers. The moment you put on that smile, and you just automatically feel better. You don't have to really be feeling better. It's just the smile itself puts you in that vibration of being happier, and it snowballs from there. And I think that's the whole fake it till you make it thing is misunderstood, because you don't think it all the way through. You will eventually make it, so why
Yeah.
not get in the receiving mode of making it?
Well, and another thing too that I had a whole switch of perspective on was like, I think, oh, it's so sad that, like, some of these kids going through this, like they totally dissociate from their body, and, they're more of an observer and stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I've even experienced that myself, just saying. And it's like, wait a minute, though. Is that really that bad, or is it a gift? You know, like,
Now,
really?
what you're talking about is actually what we were just talking about when Eileen and I had on. Oh, I can't think of her name now, but she was talking about how these children will actually pop out of their body during different traumas. We'll leave it like that, because I don't want to set off the algorithms. But different traumas that happen will force children out of their body for a moment, where they're almost like an observer to what's happening.
Mhm.
And you've actually had that happen as a
I have,
child too,
I have
where
had
you were
that.
where you sort of pushed out of your body. You were watching from outside of your body, and one of the things I said a long time ago is, how do you know that you aren't pushed out of your body? Because maybe the consciousness of the abuser is going into the body, so they're like quite literally doing it to themselves,
Yeah,
right?
you never really know. Like,
Right.
there's so many. But I just had like a
Yeah,
baby.
PMH Atwater. Sorry, I was trying to think of a real
Oh
name, and
yeah,
the initials always
she's
threw me.
awesome.
Yeah, PMH Atwater. So if you didn't see that, definitely check that out. Eileen and I had her on a little over a month ago, a couple months ago. But yeah, she was talking about that, and it's like an out of body, but it's a trauma driven out of body that a lot of kids will experience. And so yeah, what do you think? I mean, you've experienced it. It really feels like you're just sort of out of your body watching. Does it? Do you
Yeah.
even realize it's you that you're watching?
No, that's the other thing. If you ask a lot of people about like near death experiences and stuff, they'll say, because like, okay, you think that someone dies, they pop out of their body or whatever, and say they're around their family, and the family is upset and crying about the death or whatever.
Hmm.
There seems to be this very weird. So it has happened a lot of times. Like one time, I had had a near death experience. My ovary had ruptured, and like my husband was on the phone to my mom telling her about it, and all of a sudden it was like I was point of consciousness, like right on the side of his head, and I was like, look, don't be upset, I feel really good right now, like everything's fine. But I wasn't so very attached to him being upset like it would seem. It was kind of like la di da, like it's kind of interesting. It's like, what's going on, but there's a certain detachment from it that's so hard to describe. And when I was a child and I had that same thing happen, it was the same thing. It was more like,
Now, Amy B is saying
that's
it's
going on.
disassociation, and this actually reminds me of Eileen's near-death experience as well, where she didn't even realize she was looking down on her body. She was just sort of the observer. She didn't have all the emotions, like you're saying. You didn't have the emotions of him freaking out or anything.
Right, but I knew what was going on still. It was just strange. You know, it's
Right.
hard to explain, but it seems like, well, and I've heard a lot of people say that, like, that they could really tell, like, say they were about to, like, hit the back of a semi or something, and their body literally, like, popped out before the impact. Like, they didn't
Right.
even experience the actual pain,
Yep.
like, from the death. They didn't really have pain till they were waking up and, recovering or whatever.
Right. And I think it's like that for a lot of people, you
Yeah.
know,
Hmm.
like just situations where it's like a for sure death thing. Like, you heard about all the people on 9/11 that jumped and things like that. I think for a lot of those people, they were out before they hit. You know what I mean? Just because it's a for sure thing. And some wrecks are like that. They're so horrible that they just pop out before it happens, you know?
You would have to bring up that footage. Huh? No, I'm just kidding.
No, no, I'm
No,
not going
and
to bring it.
9/11. Okay, no, I was gonna say though too that, like, oh, you distracted me.
I'm not going to bring up, I'm not going to play any footage.
No, no, that's not it. I was just saying. Okay. So, but I know what I wanted to say though, not changing the subject, but about, okay, I had this, like, knowing, and it was like, have I had did a BQH and then had, like, some other stuff, like, come to me at the same time, and it was like, coronavirus, and then, like, it's crown and virus or spread of something. And I feel like the Christ consciousness is also spreading around. And it's neat that they actually pegged Louisiana as this, everybody is very loving and stuff down here, but the Mardi Gras actually has the three colors of purple, green, and gold represented. And the purple, like, represents, like, the
the,
royalty, and the green
the
light.
crowd. Hmm.
Mhm. And the gold, yeah, exactly. If you line it up with, like, the chakras too, and then and the gold, like, like the streets of gold in heaven, or the golden,
Right, right.
the golden arches of McDonald. No, I'm just kidding. And so what I'm trying to say is they also have a baby in each cake, and which is really a choking hazard. There's a little tiny baby, like an inch long, and whoever finds the baby buys the next cake. But the premise of it all, because I researched it all, because I thought it was so weird when I moved here, because I came from another state. So it's that the three wise men, when they went to look for baby Jesus, so he's hiding in the cake. So they're, like, hunting for him in it or whatever. But my point is, so that, like, kind of pulled Christ into even the news story with mentioning the Mardi Gras. And I really had this, I was like, wow, the way they say that your perspective kind of determines the path that you're going to create, or whatever. If there is a splitting, I don't want to just say just two, because it's a multidimensional reality, but just for an example, if there's a splitting, like the Vesica Pisces, and we're splitting into two different earths or realities, you know, one could be this coronavirus, where another one could be this Christ consciousness that's spreading around. It's very similar. Like, to me,
Exactly.
it was very similar, you know?
Yeah. They've even had, I watched some videos where they were saying that it was nanotechnology and it was connected with consciousness. And that, I mean, that really kind of combines both views that you're talking about, which I find to be pretty interesting as well. But the whole idea of the crown, I think that's huge, and here's a Mandela effect for you guys. I just found it right before we were going on because I was going to look up a map. So I typed in coronavirus. I've been doing this, for the last couple of weeks or whatever. A lot of us started doing like CV or COVID-19 or something like that. But all I know is when I was first typing coronavirus in, I would type in corona space virus, two separate words, hit return, and then it would bring up stuff for corona space virus, two words. Now I type coronavirus, two separate words in, and it returns it as a single word. It's been Mandela affected. It's coronavirus, one word now. So, all of you
Yeah.
guys in the chat, check this now just to verify in case it flip flops. Let me know if when you do a search for coronavirus, does it auto correct it into being a single word? Because
And
I
I gotta,
just
that's so
noticed this
weird.
one.
See, I was going through this with the Mandela effect. I've had twice that it flipped for me, and like, it would auto correct to, like, two L's, like Mandela, instead of one, and it would
Yeah.
stay like that for a couple weeks, and then would go back.
Yeah, it's saying, did you mean coronavirus? One single word. So it's still doing it for me. But it,
So
it
it's
wasn't
like
doing it at first. So that's crazy.
Type in Christ consciousness, see if it's all together. That'd be something, wouldn't it? But yeah, I just think that we're just gonna have to try to use our thoughts is what creates our reality and our emotions, and we need to keep them focused on the desired outcome of what we want because we really are the creators of this reality.
Yeah, we're driving the ships here.
Yep. And if you can just kind of, and I can't help, I got to go back to like to Kimberly Lynn Hansen and say that, if you can get to where you're just like in that flow, like in the now, kind of following your bliss and, that, how does she say it? Like this would be like a great big entropy type event with all this going on. It seems like chaos, but like in the end, it ends up being where we're really supposed to go.
No doubt about it. I mean, if you think about it, just the amount of time people have that they didn't have before. I mean, things are just completely different now. I mean, a complete disruption to the status quo, if you will, just how things just are. I mean, this is a complete disruption of that. So you're affected either directly or indirectly, but no one is unaffected by this. Not really. Because everyone has to leave their house and go to a store at some point. So, and that's really all it takes. So
And right,
yeah, it's
oh, sorry.
yep. It's saying, did you mean coronavirus? One single word, you guys. So right there, it was. I don't know if you guys remember it as two words, but it was definitely two words in the beginning, and now it's one single word. Jamie's verifying it. So yeah.
But I just
So,
that's what I just wanted to like tell some people. I thought maybe we could make everybody laugh if they're like scared. We got those two pictures. Like my friend Ian gave me this picture. Shout out to Ian. You got that one? I don't know.
yeah. 1 second, I want to share my screen so everybody else
Okay.
can.
Y'all are gonna love this. I'll let them look at it for a second. What's wrong with this picture? I don't know if you can zoom in on it or not. And okay, no faces showing. So this this lady just chose to stick a maxi pad to cover her nose and mouth as a mask. And this is like here in this is like a local picture. This is not like from the internet. This is like real Walmart, local Walmart here.
This guy has one on too, but she's actually got. Poor woman.
I saw
Hey,
I
you do
saw
what you gotta do. You do what you gotta do.
I saw a video with two people that literally had like gallon-sized Ziploc bags over their head when they went into Walmart.
Okay, let me remove that so people can see a little bit more. That is so wild.
Yeah, so there's that. And then we got one more for anyone that cannot get toilet paper right now. We have a suggestion. It's great. You got that?
Yep. Oh, I need to jump to it. Hold on. There we go.
Yes, someone had put on Twitter. It just made me laugh. They're like, if you can't find toilet paper, Party City has some, and you can get it in any color. It might work, right?
I don't know.
Got the
It's
little
better than
ripples
nothing.
in it that they talk like the little bear on TV talks about the ripples.
What is that supposed to be a face right there?
Where? Oh, it looks like somebody wrote on the wall, huh?
Uh, Maybe that's the Party City logo or something.
I don't know. Yeah, they probably did it on their own. They probably it's someone that works there.
So I captured these while I was out and about because I thought, that's like I'm scrapbooking. The Hard Rock Hotel Casino Resort operations are temporarily suspended.
Wait,
Probably don't see that too often. They're open like 24 hours a day. So.
I was laughing at my mom the other day. I came in and she was laughing and she says, "Yeah, there's a pizza company's commercial was on TV and they were like, and we'll deliver your pizza never touched by human hands." And it was like literally in the commercial. They're saying this, you know.
Pizza never touched by human hands. We'll deliver it to your door, or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah, yeah. They were saying it in the commercial. You know.
So there's that one. Let me see what else I got here. McDonald's. They have a long line at the drive-thru. We are open, drive-thru and takeout only. And I don't know if you guys remember the movie The Outsiders, the
Yeah.
drive-in theater. Well, I just happen to live a few blocks from it, and so I captured this image here. Closed due to COVID-19. State.
Which is crazy because you'd be in your car. That seems like that'd be the great way to still go to the movie and have some entertainment.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing because they were open for a while. They were open for a few days, and the state, the city said they could stay open. They just had to clean like the bathrooms every 10 minutes or something like that. So I don't know if it was just too much of a hassle, if they couldn't find anybody to clean the bathrooms, perhaps. Who
Hmm.
knows?
I was laughing about that. I was like, they probably run an ad and be like, bathroom cleaner for every 10 minutes. They'd have,
Right.
they'd have to pay a lot.
Let's see. This is a. Sorry, I was checking the chat really fast. This is the drive-in movie from the movie drive-in theater from the movie The Outsiders. But a few years ago, the screen caught on fire. This used to be made out of wood, and this whole thing got engulfed in flames and pretty intense. And then they rebuilt it using metal. So here we have the new and improved. I know a lot of drive-ins actually don't exist anymore. They closed down, but I
I,
guess this
I
one.
actually saw E.T. in a drive-in theater in California. That was like the first drive-in movie I went to, and it was like a neat memory. So when you brought that up, it like reminded me of that.
It's so funny that I went here as a teenager. One of my favorite movies was The Outsiders, and I went here and I remember thinking, "Wow, these all look alike." Because really, all I knew was the drive-in from The Outsiders, and then the one I actually visited. I had no idea they were really the same location. It
That's
was
so
fun.
cool. Yeah, they film a lot of movies here too. They're always running like casting calls, and you can go be an extra in a movie and stuff like that. They
All
did
right.
like what was that? I can't think of that word. The Secretariat or something. Disney Secretariat was here all the way back to when they did like Sex Lies and videotapes here, and these are just the ones that I knew about. And like Big was filmed here, I think. One of Tom
Mm,
Hanks. Yeah,
very cool.
I think that's one. I don't know. But it is weird when you see something in your, town like on TV like that. It's pretty neat.
Stay golden. Didn't that change to stay gold or stay golden or
Look, I don't know because I only know it from Step Brothers.
is it stay golden or gold?
It says it says golden on Step Brothers. From what
Right.
I remember anyway. If Darby's still in the chat, she'll know. That's like one of our favorite movies.
Yeah. I actually did a video about the whole Outsiders thing, and it got taken down like months later. Like somebody actually saw it. And I just showed this little clip of, this was a scene in the movie I didn't even remember. This courtroom scene at the end of The Outsiders. Do you remember them going to court and stuff?
Yeah.
You do remember that? Okay, well, there was a clock on the back of the courtroom, and it had one of the new Roman numeral clocks where it looked like, instead of it looked like an 1111. Have you seen the new?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I always think of it as an 1111. Okay, so let me check. Stay golden, Pony Boy.
That's what I was gonna say, but I didn't know if it was part of it. Is that Darby?
No, that's
Oh.
Feisty Kitty.
Feisty Kitty, you Sunset Brothers.
Stay golden. Stay golden. Thank you, Caleb. So what is it now, guys? Is it stay
Hey,
golden or stay gold? I think it's stay gold now.
wow.
Yeah.
I think that scary movie one really got a lot of people that like weren't in the Mandela Effect community. The one that says like the movie said like I see white people. That was the joke, because he was like a black guy and everything. And
Right.
now it says the actual line from the movie, I see dead people. I like freaked out when I saw that because my kids watched that movie like too much.
I know that one is just so crazy. I even remember there was a black guy on a plane with a bunch of white people, and he took a selfie of himself, the only black guy on the plane with all these white people, and he put "I see white people" as a joke, like from the
Right.
movie. But now it looks like he's just being racist and stuff because the movie doesn't exist. Or
Yeah.
the movie exists, but that line doesn't exist. It's like supposed to be
Right.
a spoof movie, but they just repeat the line from the original now, which is it was totally funny how it was.
And like you brought up the drive-in theater and the ET thing, and it's so funny because I had like ET come up so much, but that Mandela Effect that was on Moneybags channel where he like puts his finger lit up on his heart and he says like I'll be right here right before he leaves, and now it's on the forehead or whatever,
Yeah.
and I felt like that was kind of like talking about like the crown chakra, the pineal gland, and all of that. And
Yeah.
then I feel like there's a lot of stuff, you know kind of showing an increase in people's spirituality, spiritual development, like about the evolution of it or whatever.
Yeah.
And with the ET thing, then I realized that that first song that I got from Michael Jackson when I was going through all that fearful stuff, and it's called "Someone in the Dark." It's actually from ET, not the movie, but they had like that little storybook. I don't know if y'all remember the storybooks where you'd put in the cassette tape and it would read and then it'd say ding and you turn the page. Well, there's some ET voice overs on that, and that song was actually on that. And I think Michael Jackson did the voice over on the storybook.
Is that one for you? The whole do you remember? Because I know like people say the whole ET home phone, and
Oh yeah.
and then he says phone home.
It
I can't. That's not 100%er for me because
Oh, it is for me.
he does eventually say phone home though, right? Isn't it
Yeah, but
that he
I
just
know the
messes it
part
up?
they're talking about, and it literally, it was like he said it's the first time when he like points his little finger up and he's all like "E.T. going home." I can do his, that's the only voice I can actually do when I'm like copying stuff, but I'm not gonna do it here. That's too embarrassing. But he's all like "E.T. phone home" or whatever. Okay, so that was like the biggest thing in the movie, and then the little girl figures out in Drew Barrymore, she's like "E.T. phone home." He wants to call home, and all that. But now it says home phone.
Right, and who was it? Andrew that I had on Vichovich. He I think I'm butchering his last name. I can't remember. But he was saying homophone. Like you got a lot of the words that are, sound like one thing and they're another. Learning to Fly says she's glad the line got changed because it was kind of racist. Yeah,
What?
I can see that's I see white
Oh,
people.
I was talking about ET. I was like, wait, that's
Yeah, so you could see that as an improvement.
yeah.
Stay golden, pony boy. Darby saying, is that what
Yeah.
it is now or what it was? Nobody's telling me what it is now and what it was.
But see, what
Stay
is it
gold, pony boy.
originally from? See, we only know it from Step Brothers, and you know how sometimes they'll say the original way on something else, kind of
Right,
like on your Mandela Effect video when you're talking about the thinker, you're showing the examples on Saturday Night Live and stuff like that, right?
right, right,
So on different movies, they'll always reference these things, and it's
right.
like a residual. So that would be a residual to that one on Step Brothers.
Yep, exactly.
Because I love that.
Oh, oh, sorry. Did I say you were a girl? Sorry, learning to fly as a dude.
Oh,
I must have said her or something.
yeah.
Uh, I sent it to Darby saying, okay. I was going to take a step back to say that it was like that for. Okay, so there's the one in Jaws. We're going to need a bigger boat. Bigger boat. You're going to need a bigger boat. And then in the movie, Evan Almighty. Is that the one that was like Noah's Ark?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
there was a scene in there where they're all running to the boat, and he says, "We're going to need a bigger boat, or you're going to need a bigger boat,
Yeah.
whatever." That's so funny because that didn't originally affect me, so now I remember both ways, and I can't ever remember which way it
Mhm.
is. So if Darby's saying it's a Stay Golden,
Mhm.
then that would be residue because I think it's Stay Gold Pony Boy now. Stay Gold.
I thought it
You
was so funny. We were talking when we were talking about. I don't know if y'all think back to when you actually realized the Mandela effect for the first time. Like mine was in March. No, I'm sorry, September of 2015. It was always around like an equinox or whatever.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like somebody was saying they should make a Mandela Effect like dating site because like everybody like might have a spouse or something that doesn't, or a boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever that doesn't isn't affected, and it causes some problems and stuff. And I was like, yeah, it's gonna get where people have pickup lines like, oh well, I'm September 2015, I'm a Berenstein, like instead of like saying their sign,
Right, right.
it'll be like about the Mandela Effect.
Right. And I'm
So
March. I'm March 2017, and I'm a thinker.
yeah, it's so weird.
I'm a lion and a lamb. March
Y'all,
2017.
y'all should put in the chat what yours is. But it is interesting that they seem to be March, September.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
weird. I don't know.
Or into April a little bit. It's like I don't know. It just for me, it was like almost right on the equinox.
See, I don't have my exact date. I just know it was in September of 2015.
Right. Your mic's actually clanking. Here, I'm going to mute you for a second.
Uh,
Ah, that's not fun. No. Mute her for a second. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it was.
Darby knows about that from Cinderella story.
Let's see here. Okay, so what are your thoughts with the whole shut-in and everything? If do you have anything
I
else you want to share about that whole thing? I mean, what you're
I
seeing
don't
and
know. I don't want to like get into like the fear part of it a lot, but I mean I know a lot of people are fearful about it, but to me it's just I just don't know how long they're going to keep doing this, and they're saying until the number, like a lot of times they're saying that the numbers aren't like accurate, that they're like exaggerated and stuff like that, and I just
a
don't know.
lot doesn't make sense about it. But
Right.
I just don't see this kind of disruption and not shake things up. And I know there's enough people that's rooting, pushing towards the positive. I know people aren't in fear nearly as much as you would think. Some people might hope. So I think we're pushing this in the right direction. I feel so optimistic about it, so excited about it. I can't. I've even had a few instances where it was almost like butterflies in the stomach or something. It was like, and it wasn't really connected with the excitement I was feeling. It was way I was feeling more than I should have been feeling, and I didn't know if it was the energies or whatever. But I've been sleeping a lot, off and on. Not sleeping a lot, but sleeping.
Yeah, me
Not having a lot of uninterrupted sleep. You know what I mean? So I'm total sleep hours in a day hasn't increased, but the times it's more spaced out and stuff. So I'll get up in the middle of the night and stay up for a few hours and take another long nap in the morning. And so sleep's been really weird for me. I've been meditating a lot though, so that kind of gets me in sort of a trancy, tired mood, and I'll have to go take a nap or whatever. But for the most part, I've had a few people have this excited feeling come over them, like for me, it was almost like I was about to go out on stage and my stomach was kind of in a knot. It wasn't really the butterflies in the stomach. It was like stomach in a knot feeling, and um, not bad though, just excited. You know what I mean? And I was like, what's the deal with my stomach? And then someone else had mentioned that they were experiencing that too. So I didn't know if that was part of it, but I wanted to put that out there in case somebody else felt it. I ended up drinking a lot of water and relaxing and meditating, and it went away. So
I've seen kind of a lot of people though that were scared. So, I feel sorry for, you know,
but
people
it wasn't
that
for
are
me. It
scared.
wasn't fear at all.
Right, right. No, I
Yeah,
realize that, but I'm just saying there are
yeah.
people out there that are afraid, and I want to like, that's why I wanted to do this too, is to like maybe give some people a different perspective so they wouldn't be as afraid.
Yeah.
I know I know Darby was kind of afraid. I was gonna try to get her to call on my phone and put her on speaker because she was kind of worried this afternoon. When she saw a video with the tanks or whatever.
Yeah, well, you know what? When it comes to military, I see those as more everyday people. You know, like you and me, our kids, our nephews and children, and So I don't know. I feel a certain comfortable. Um, I don't know with just troops and American troops in general because I know that they're just made up of everyday Americans. I don't. I guess I feel the same about them as I do maybe somebody that's in some kind of covert something. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, right. Oh, and
Uh,
I thought about something else too. That I can tell Darby too. Some people, some people are saying that a lot of those are on, let's just say on not on the side you'd think they were on, kinda, or not.
mm-hmm.
There you go. Say
White
it like
hats, black hats,
that.
white
Yeah.
hats.
Hmm.
Okay, so that's what I was going to say about any kind of troop movement. You got to keep in mind that these are, you know, I don't know, everyday folks. So I would say that the simple fact that it takes a long time for any kind of troop movement to, it's not done like overnight. You know what I mean? It takes some time to mobilize that much to get it on trains and get it moving, and there's some planning involved. Um, I don't know. I don't think there's anything to worry about though.
I thought it would take more time to make a rapid test than what, 3 days or whatever.
Yeah. Now they got one that's like what, 15 minutes or
Yeah,
something.
that's what I'm saying
Did the
before.
accuracy increase with that one though? Because I've been hearing like
Well, I
80%
mean,
false positives and stuff.
I think right here what we should say is like if that video that Richie from Boston did where he interviewed Dr. Kaufman, it was Kaufman, that kind of gives all that information out. At least it's a different perspective to
Yeah.
think about.
Yeah.
I have something funny though. I had went to the doctor the other day and everybody had on a mask, like the workers, the patients, the doctor, and they were like, "Oh, why don't you have on a mask?" And I'm like, I don't really need one because all of y'all have one on, so I guess I'm good. And then I was like telling her, so like, I was gonna tell him like, there's a shortage of toilet paper, so I was using them for that. No, no, I'm not really scared of people though. I'm not, you know, I'm not gonna be. I don't want to be like that.
Yeah. Let's see. Learning to fly. Not everyone is as they appear. The tears are no longer able to hide. I like that. How do you like that? You like that, huh, Sherry?
Yeah, I really like that. Yes.
Roger says only took 2 weeks to collapse the economy. Hmm.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like I'm still working right now, but it's funny because I look at people that aren't, and I'm like, look, they got on the stick because like if you applied for unemployment, I know I had advised someone to file for unemployment, and they were like, feeling like it was a difficult process and all this, that, and the other. And so just within like 2 or 3 days, I was talking to someone else that knew him and said they had already gotten an unemployment check, that same person. So, I mean, if someone's filling that out, they're getting that money to the people quickly from what I've seen anyway.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
I guess if you're
yeah.
not working, you can get paid and be at home.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So there's been others that have the process for. They just felt like it was just a daunting task to get their unemployment going. So they started it but didn't finish it. It was just too much of a big deal. But then they heard their coworkers were already getting checks. It's only been like a week. They'd already got this card in the mail that's supposed to get loaded with their unemployment on it. It's sort of like a debit card type something.
I'd say
That
that's what happened at my house too.
they
Exactly.
already got it.
Yeah.
And then they already load the money on there, and that just gave anybody else the needed inspiration, I guess you would say, to go finish theirs and get theirs going too. So if you feel like it's just too daunting of a task, you've tried it. People are already getting their money. Go get your money. Go fill out what you got to fill out and get that going.
Yeah, that's like me. I was like, if they're giving out like a stimulus check or something and you had to do your taxes to do it, I'm like, oh man, I'm like behind a great much on, you know.
Yeah.
few years. Anyway, I mean, I don't know how that works,
I don't know. I heard they extended the taxes though. It's typically April 15th. Now it's June 15th. I think they gave 2 extra 60 days on getting the taxes done.
I was told a long time ago, and this makes a lot of sense though, that the extension thing and all that is really not necessary if you don't owe money. But if you owe money, they want it. But if they owe you money, they'll sit on that for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I have a friend that had not filed her taxes for like 9 years, and she was like tripping out and everything. And I was like, "Look, go to this lady. She'll take care of everything 'cause she's just good at that. She'll get you all fixed up." And she went and she got like a huge amount of money because she was supposed to get refunds that whole time, but she didn't get in trouble because she was supposed to get refunds that whole time. I guarantee you, they know where you're working and how much you're making if they wanted to look, you know.
Oh yeah.
So
So people are surviving this. That was another thing I got in an email talking about, and I'll probably talk about this in another show later on, a subsequent show, I should say. But that the stimulus package, the CARES package, coronavirus AIDS package, has actually been on the book since 2019, January 2019, 14 months. So it like was in the Senate, I guess, is the shell bill that they turned into what it is now. So with that and the troop movements, I think there could be some white hats that's got some other stuff going on. I don't feel like it's a negative thing. I do feel like there's more going on than we see, for sure. But I think there's a purpose to that. Even the whole blackout thing. I think that could even been I think with some of the Q drops and stuff. You said some of the information they put out is disinfo on purpose, and that could be totally one of those things where if people are expecting the internet to turn off before they bust in the door, then it could just be they put that out there to make people think that. You know what I mean? So you just never know.
yeah, you
I
never
don't think
know.
that's I don't think that's an indicator on whether things are happening as they say, because you just never know what they have to put out there and what information is true and what was to throw people off. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, guys. Yeah, birthday was on the 30th.
Yes, I actually mailed you a birthday present, and I'm just gonna say now that I have a plan for you with it, but I don't know if you'll do it, but we'll see.
Oh
Or
yeah.
yeah, for
Wait a
Easter.
minute. So when you were at the post office throwing a ruckus, you were mailing me something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you went into a federal building, gave them some trouble while you were mailing me a package. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that, Jerry.
I thought they need to know that there's
so,
alternative media out there in the world.
so not only did you put yourself on some kind of flagged list, they probably flagged me too. All right, awesome. Now they know where I live. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I just no, really, I thought it'd be neat on that one upcoming show that we did. We can wear matching shirts.
Really? Okay, yeah, that'd be fun.
I just gave away what your present was, didn't I?
Oh, is it a shirt?
No.
Well, we were talking about doing a special Easter broadcast.
Yeah, I'm excited
Yeah,
about that.
yeah, because we want to talk about the holiday video that we put out at the beginning of the year, and then we just put out this other video, the Easter egg video. We're getting the Ready Player One, so we'll maybe premiere those again and talk about them. And we've already got more stuff that's gonna the whole LOL 101 IOI whatever, however you want to view it.
Mhm.
That's we got to add that in there because that's
Yeah.
beautiful. So we've already got more parts that's adding to that, and it's really so cool the way all these little synchronicities and things line up with everything. And if you really keep your eyes open and don't get distracted by all this crap going on here, because I get it, you guys. I've been pilled to the TV too, so much so that they start repeating themselves, and you're like, oh come on, don't repeat. Give me some new juicy stuff. And so it's like you can get sort of captivated into the programming, and everywhere you go you see people just glued to the TVs just taking the programming just flowing right in, you know what I mean?
And don't
But
forget too that sometimes when they're saying, look at this, look at this, look at this, there's something huge going on, that, like you said, that you don't even know about that, or either they don't want us to see, or, so this is big, it takes over, people start watching it all the time, and there's a whole nother thing going on.
yeah, Let's see. I better. Glenn Allen says maybe it's a pink shirt. You better not have sent me a pink shirt.
No, it's pink and sparkly. No.
I have to definitely look at it before. I'm not agreeing to anything.
I think we should make him agree. Mm.
Take it easy, Roger. You have a good time there in Colorado. Thanks for stopping in.
Oh, I love Roger. I love his stuff.
Yeah, awesome guy. Let's see what else is going on here.
Did anybody say anything they thought about like that the Christ consciousness virus, like coronavirus and the Christ consciousness spreading, and no one said anything?
I I could have missed it. I've been watching it really close.
Another thing too that's been brought up is it seems that they're reporting that like those canals in is it Vienna where you ride in the boats all romantic and they have that they're like the water's cleared up and there's like fish in them for the first time ever, like because we're not in there polluting stuff. The earth's like, because everybody is kind of like at home, the earth is like kind of repairing itself on some certain things. I,
Yeah.
I don't, I don't, I don't know if that's true, but if it is, when
That's what I heard. I heard that even the ozone, they said, was repairing itself. And I thought, you know what? I've been hearing this all my life about how we're destroying the ozone layer. It can never repair itself. And people sit home for a few days and it already starts repairing itself. That right there lets you know as soon as they start to release some of this technology, we get off of fossil fuels, we start running on the free energy. It won't take long until the earth does start repairing itself and we start undoing this damage because you know it's going to repair itself. It's a living conscious being, you know what I mean? It's going to repair itself even if it's, you know, got to thin out the herd to do that. I'm just playing. I'm just saying, you know.
yeah. So but I just think that maybe that could give everybody a little bit of incentive that once we all do get back out there, maybe we could like not litter the land.
Yeah, treat the land good. Yeah, bless the earth, it will bless us.
Right. Yep.
April's asking, what do you mean with the Christ consciousness and the COVID? She was kind of talking about these parallel paths. It was almost like that on the Q map, where you see one side has 5G, the other side has
Yes.
5D,
Yes.
right? So it's like you can move up these, you know, and even some of the symptoms and stuff. You can look and some of the symptoms that support ascension symptoms, what we think of, will also pair with uh, 5G radiation symptoms. So, and then some of the, it's so funny because some of the actual remedies for both, it's like to get out in nature. It's like, man, how do you tell which is which? I mean, you've got these two completely different paths you can go on with remedies, so you can't that work on either one. You know, getting out in nature help with the ascension symptoms. Did it help that I got away from the EMF? Is it a little mixture of both? So what she's talking about is this sort of parallel with COVID-19 and the Christ consciousness or the crown activation, if you will.
Yeah,
Or
like the virus is spreading, but is Christ consciousness spreading? Because and it's
right.
really it's neat that it has crown, like like the crown chakra and all that. It was kind of like a little revelation that I had. It was like part BQH and then part right after. Right after you start getting all this stuff all of a sudden, and you're like, bam, bam, bam.
Let's see. Sorry, let's see. Oh, way to go, Shane. His birthday was on the 20th. Yeah, I think that's certainly a way to look at it. It's interesting, April says.
Yeah, and I don't know if she was in there when I was talking about the Mardi Gras thing because they were saying Louisiana it spread the most, and Mardi Gras has like the colors that represent, like the purple, green, and gold, like the royalty of Christ, and the green is the life, and the gold, like the gold of God or the heavenly um, bricks of streets of gold or whatever. And then they hide I know y'all aren't from here, but they hide a baby Jesus in every king cake.
Yeah, that's great. King cake. That's
Yeah, and it's a king, with the crown. And it's just funny that they said Louisiana. I don't know, and it was because of Mardi Gras, and I don't know, I just like felt like it was a knowing. I mean, I can't say it was a knowing because I don't know for sure, but it seemed like a knowing me. And It's like represents the three wise men looking for baby Jesus in the cake. That's the whole thing about the king cake.
Yeah. Raleigh, actually, the next one for June 5th, 6th, and 7th, I think it is. 5th through 7th, is it? Or is it the 4th through 6th? It's the first weekend in June, and it's supposed to be in Connecticut. But it's going to be completely online, too. So no worries there. If anybody's a little nervous about meeting, and or even if they've still got ordinances in place about meeting in groups, will be completely online. So as
Emergency
well.
alert.
So
Louisiana stay-at-home order extended to April 30th to stop the COVID-19 spread. That just came to my phone just now. It was like going crazy. About to buzz off the.
oh really? You got actually one of them? I haven't gotten one of them at all yet. I haven't gotten any kind of how you get like the Amber Alert sort of messages that come through. I haven't got anything like that in this area. I know Eileen said she had gotten one, but it was for another area that she got her phone in. Is that the first one you've gotten like that?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I hadn't seen any other ones like it.
Wow. So you actually, yeah, you guys actually have a stay-at-home order. I remember seeing that in place, but like we don't. It's all recommended. But like here, you can still go out and eat. There's no eating in the restaurant, but there's takeout and drive-through. There's, of course, Walmarts and grocery stores and things like that. But anywhere you do go out, you have to stay 6 foot away from people.
Yeah, trust
And I
me.
think they've actually threatened to arrest people that don't follow the rules. Now, check this out. This is crazy because it's like just within, and this is just me, the way I was raised in church, and how everybody's against Christianity and everything from that point of view or whatever, and they taking prayer out of schools and all of this stuff. And of course, you hear the people that's like, wow, kids are having to be homeschooled. You get like spankings and prayer back in school immediately, like right,
Right.
Christian homes or whatever. But the other one was a guy in Florida, a pastor in Florida, continued to have service anyway, had 2 services, and they arrested him. Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, I think I heard that news story. I mean, I haven't talked to him or anything, so
Oh, so you doubt that even happened, huh?
I don't know. I don't know. I went through such a conspiracy theorist phase, like back in 2010 through 14 or whatever, where I was just kind of like, there's a lot of things like I just have to like see. I kind of trust the alternative news more.
But there's so many different theories going around with that, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's true, and that's why I really think that we need to pick the perspective that we want. I think that it's obvious that the Mandela Effect has showed us that the universe is malleable.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I have had so many miracles where the universe literally talks to me, and it used to be like monthly and then weekly and then daily, and now multiple times a day. I get straight up messages from the universe,
Right.
and it's, you know, because I'm like trying to follow my bliss, you know what I mean? And I feel like because I'm on the right path, sort of, I keep getting the messages that's like confirmation, reassuring me that, everything's okay and everything's how it's supposed to be. But I really think that it's speeding up manifestation. And
Yeah.
I think that watching the bad news like that over and over and over and over is just going to use your manifestation skills to create what they want. And I just think we really need to focus on things like what Eileen and you do, like focus
Yeah.
on.
So like you're saying that they can display something across the TVs a certain way. We're all like locked in our homes, so all we can do is trust sort of what they're showing us, right? And then alternative media will go to some of the same locations that they're reporting from, and it's a completely different.
Right. Yeah.
It's completely different for people that go there. It's like, and then I've been even like listening to the wording is it's carefully worded. A lot of times it will sound like they're saying that they're getting overran, but they'll really be saying like they're prepping for the influx of patients. They'll put it off into the future. So they'll say something like, trying to be prepared so they don't run out of masks. So it sounds like they're already using up the mask and the gloves right now, but it's worded in a way that sounds like they're going to run out if they don't get more there. But
Yeah.
it's worded also in a way that they're not actually saying they're using them yet. Do you follow what I'm saying? It's sort of
Right.
like they're just preparing. So for a lot of people, they think it's the calm before the storm. Like, things just haven't picked up yet, and that they will. It's just it hasn't. Thank God, hasn't gotten that bad yet. So
But for our group, like as much as we all like love each other and hug or healing and things like that, like the social distancing thing is like, I mean, people need to be loved on. Like all of my patients and stuff, like when I'm doing their vital signs or whatever, I might have my other hand on their arm or whatever in like a kind way or whatever. And I hate to see things like that go away because it's so important, like the human touch. You know what I mean?
oh yeah,
It
yeah.
really is.
And it's making people more standoffish. So let's get back to this church incident because I hear that there's these rules in place that you can't have a private or a public gathering. So then it makes me wonder. It's like how far you can't have a private gathering. If you are a church, right, and you believe that God's going to keep you safe, that's your religion, and you want to have a gathering, you want to have a service, and everybody there is there voluntarily of their own faith, that
Right.
they'll be protected and that they're not worried. I don't see them. I don't know. I don't see them having the right to come and shut it down like that or to arrest the pastor for being negligent. I don't know. What do you think about that whole thing?
Yeah, I don't think that they should do that because I mean, or what about like if someone died and you had to have a funeral or something?
Well, they're even doing those in weddings. They're showing how all of those they're doing. Like some of them's going completely online. Some of them, the funeral can't have more than 10 people there, and so it's just the closest the family members are even allowed to be in there. Yeah, it's already happening like that.
I mean, it's just like it really reminds me of like those movies and stuff where you're like, living in this pod, but you're experiencing all of your reality like through the gaming or the internet or whatever.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't know. I'm being bad right now. I just thought about I hadn't put social distancing into the gematria calculator.
Mm-hmm.
I was just curious, but it looks like the gematria calculator is like not available.
Oh, gematrinator.com?
Yeah, it's like it's gematrinator or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Hmm. Or is it just my phone?
Hmm. I don't know. Nope. 500 internal server error.
What what is that? I mean, like, wait, they don't want us to see. Hmm.
Gematria calculator. Oh, if you go down and click gematria calculator, it works. So,
Oh, you did? Okay. Type in
if
social distancing. Let's just see. Or you don't have to. I don't want to
mm,
waste your time. I know it's been a while we've been on here.
no, this is fun.
Yeah. Hmm.
Hmm.
Gematria calculator.
Interesting.
It's interesting though. I don't see a few of them.
Uh,
Are they all negative?
no, it's not opening up like it normally opens up for me now.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
not.
Raleigh, we'll be back tomorrow night for the call in, the Friday night love stream.
Oh wait, here we go. And then we'll wrap it up on that.
Let's see, someone else said, oh, yeah, be the calm in the storm.
Right. Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's sort of what I feel like we're here to do. No matter what's going on out there, to keep that anchor in place. To realize that we're not doing this alone. We have this whole other team, invisible team, agency at work that's helping So have some faith, you guys. Have some trust. We've made it this far. Just relax. Be content. Know that everything is working out perfectly. I really do feel that. I wouldn't just say that if I didn't really honestly believe that. I believe that everything's working out perfectly. From what I've seen, everything is, no matter how it looks, walk by faith, not by sight. Right?
Right. Yes.
What kind of connections are you finding with the numbers there, Sherry? Anything?
Um, just things like California fires, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Nothing I was thinking that would be really super cool. Sometimes, you know,
Really exciting times, though, you guys. Let's see. What's everybody saying here? Yeah. Just relax, you guys. It'd be cool to have a round the clock channel now, or a few different channels. We could split it up. I
yeah,
try to be Raleigh, but I really believe it too. I totally think we're going to come out the other side of this much better than we went into it, and that this is a huge catalyst for wonderful change. And I just can't get beyond the excitement of it.
I hope that it makes people like to also wake up and try to look another direction too for like news source, like to not just go by what the news is saying, because there's other perspectives out there.
Yeah. Shiny saying, "Oh, it's 4:44. Everything is working out perfectly," and then we
I
got the
love
synchronicity.
Shiny. She's
I know.
so shiny. It's a perfect name for her.
I know, right? Let's see. And it's 1:11, hour and 11 minutes. We've been trucking along here. Hey,
Wow.
Dana.
Time to
Lots of love to you guys. And is
love
there
you.
anything else, Sherry?
Just
Thank you for
everybody stay
doing.
safe, and just remember, if you get stressed out, reach out to each other because we're all like connected somehow. And
Yeah,
just if you need a friend or if you need I'm gonna get me a shirt that says free hugs, and I'm gonna wear it like every day. And I thought that'd be
that'd be cool.
rebellious. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I love all of you very much. Hang in there.
Yeah, you guys hang in there. And
And if
what else?
anyone's sick, I don't want them to think that I'm saying that, they're not sick for sure. I understand that. I just know there's real bad flus too,
Yeah,
every year.
yeah, every year. And don't worry, you're not going to get anything unless you want to get it, and somebody might want it as an out to check out and circle back around and respawn into the game again. Who knows? I just know
Like
it's
Jamal.
all good. It's all perfect. It's all perfect, you guys. Lots of love, light, and unity to each and every one of you guys. Stay strong out there. Stay happy. Stay excited. And let's guide this ship into this new earth. Creating a whole new world with our intentions, our love, our compassion towards everyone. And it's all good.
Look
Thank
up
you,
A Whole
Sherry.
New World, the Disney song from Aladdin. And have
Great
a
advice. Peace, you guys. Have a good one. Be sure to check out the website at uotf.net. There you will find the live stream schedule displayed in your local time right there on the front page. Below that, you'll find links to take the Beyond Quantum Healing course at a discounted rate, purchase our book, Mandela Effect, Friend or Foe, in paperback or ebook, or to contact me to schedule a BQH session. At the top of the site, you'll find links to help support the work I do, access the free private forum where you can discuss organizing get-togethers in your area, Mandela effects, and more. Thank you all so much for being here.